Hi, all. Thanks again for joining our next Creek Show virtual artist talk. Today, I'm really excited to be talking to Christine Skaglund of Eyck Architects. Um, let's see. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Homer. Thanks for having me. I'm with Eyck Landscape Architects.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So here's a peek at Floating the Waller, the amazing installation of Creek Show 2015. So this is an aerial view. Christine, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your involvement with Creek Show and Floating the Waller?
Well, I practice landscape architecture, so this is a little bit of a departure from what I do on a daily basis, but it was a lot of fun. We chose this concept for a couple of reasons. We were very interested in touching the water, really engaging the surface of the water and not just suspending something over it. There's a little tongue-in-cheek story here in that Texans love to float the creek, and really use it as a recreation. But this creek in particular suffers from unhealthy water quality and is underutilized. And so there's a bit of a dichotomy there between what it wants to be and what it actually is. And so we just were really ambitious about expressing this in a really vibrant and grand way. And it took us a long way to get to the finished solution that you see here. There was a lot of research and development that went into this. So even though it's very simplistic, it took months of finding just the right lighting and just the right product and how to install it. Yeah.
Definitely. And you mentioned, Texans just really love tubing. I might personally love tubing in San Marcos and New Braunfels. So it's really awesome to kind of see, tubes along Waller Creek in downtown Austin, the last place you would imagine people tubing.
Yeah, and actually electricity and water don't usually go together very well. So part of the challenge was just getting those tubes to really light up in the way that we wanted them to. And we experimented with a variety of different light sources. We considered individual solar panels on each tube. We tried different tubes and different colored tubes. And for whatever reason, just this one right here and black light was the magic combination. So here's Franny. I mean, Fran and Kev actually did an install, I think last year or the year before. She used to work with us at Eyck Landscape Architects. And here we are, we rented a generator to fill each one of those tubes up on the day of opening day. The year before, which was the inaugural year, was just a 24-hour installation. So this moved to a 9-day installation. So there were a lot more challenges associated with just keeping this up for 9 days. So
Yeah,
and one of
what were some of those challenges that you all faced?
Well, the solar wasn't going to work. I mean, you assume that the sun's going to shine and regenerate the light every day, but then they burn out overnight, and most of those individual units need to be retriggered, which would require us to go out there every day and light them up again. And again, it was dependent upon sun. Also, by putting things in the water, you're necessarily creating a dam condition, and in a storm event that could cause flooding. So they were intentionally made to break away. Well, we did have a couple of storm events. They did break away a couple of times. And I don't have a photo of it here, but by the last day, they had taken on a life of their own. So they were no longer this perfect grid pattern. We went out daily. If we lost one, we'd tie it back off or we'd pull it out. And so it just kind of started taking shape. It was a wild living organism at the end of the day. It was kind of crazy. And here we are. We spent several weeks in advance of opening, tying our grid off. We have monofilament and anchors And they were all measured off in that perfect grid, which is how we actually got the tubes to stay in place. And here is Bailey in her waders. At first you're just like, oh, I don't really want to get in the water, it's gross. But by like day 7, you're just in the water and you can't help yourself. And you've made friends with all of the people who are living down on the creek and everything. And it was communal. You can see here, we're starting to set up the black lights. The tunnel behind us was a video installation, which turned out to be a really happy coincidence because we also rented a fog machine, which is seen in the lower left-hand corner there. So the fog kind of crept into the tube and you could see yeah, there you go. You can see the video being displayed inside the tunnel in the background. You can see some of that fog starting to creep across the tubes. And then you can just see how the black light made those tubes pop. So we got some great photography from this.
Yeah, definitely. It almost seems like the light is coming from the tubes themselves, not like the black light just worked so perfectly for this.
We worked with a professional lighting designer. He mostly does like ACL and stuff. And we were really getting down to the end of our options for lighting this. You know, we had, by process of elimination, been eliminating some of these other little solar things. And we went down to their warehouse, South Burleson area, and we brought a tube with us. And we went into a dark room and we actually brought 2 or 3 different tubes with us, different ones. And this one, when they turned the black lights on, it just was like, woo, and we're like, done, we got it, awesome. It was such a relief to know that we had a concept that was gonna work, honestly. Yeah. A little scary when you start getting to the point where you're like, I'm not sure exactly how it's all gonna come together, but yeah.
But it came together.
It came together, yeah.
So I'm curious, how many tubes are there? Do you know?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I should have looked this up. I thought there were a few hundred. I know that I think we bought 400. We didn't use all of them. In our original concept sketch, we showed it continuing north through the tunnel and beyond. And then at some point we had to sort of curtail that because other artists had claimed some of the other locations. And this is the old location. This is like between 6th and 7th. Okay. On the creek, and it's been moved up north now. So it has that kind of neat viewing platform, and there was no controlled access point, so people were coming down at various points along the creek, so you could really view it. You could view it from above, and here you get to see the smoke machine just in all its glory.
Yeah, that low-laying fog is just a really nice touch.
Yeah, we only did that the first night. That there was there were some challenges associated with that too, yeah. Because we wanted just enough, but not too much. I think we may have had 2 machines there at the time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, do you have any advice for future Creek Show teams that might be considering, submitting an idea for next year's Creek Show?
Well, and I've heard this from other participants too, but it all looks very simple, but I think that it's actually quite complicated, and we put a lot of, like I said, research and development and project management into it on the front side. We had to contact the city to have the streetlights left and out of camera here shut down for the duration, or they would have diluted our lights. So there were a variety of considerations that got us to this point, and I know others have really knocked themselves out creating equally stunning installations. And I've enjoyed going. I think only 1 year I've actually missed it. Did I give you this photo, or did you pull this one out of somewhere? I don't remember this one.
Oh, I got this one.
Okay. So this is sort of the long view now. You're looking from the tunnel and the smoke machine down. This is where there's kind of little step stones that allow you to cross the creek, which is neat because you can get pretty close. And then it breaks away, and the bed becomes very irregular and limestone. And in some instances, we actually had tubes just sitting on the stone. But when the storms came, it just washed through here. We had a couple really good rainstorms, and our team rotated. We were sort of on call. So almost daily, someone came down to check on it, make sure that we were all intact and there weren't any problems and there weren't any loose. And at some point, the breakaway went all the way down to the end of the Waller where they built the whole wall at the boathouse. And I wasn't on duty that day, but a bunch of people had to fish several tubes out of that water and drag them back up.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine this was one that you had to like maintain throughout the whole event.
Yeah, if I did it again, I would look for something a little less influenced by the elements. I think probably blacklight works, but also just a hard electrical connection is pretty surefire way to get what you need. Think simple.
Yeah.
Think simple.
Well, great advice. Do you have any final thoughts or anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
No, I look forward to the possibility that the water is clean enough that people can put their feet in it without feeling like they're going to catch a disease. And I think that is part of the purpose of the Waterloo Greenway, to just create a feature through urban downtown Austin that's safe and wholesome and healthy for everybody.
Yes, that's like the biggest part of our mission, really, restoring Waller Creek and bringing the community closer to this area that has just been historically underutilized, definitely, and bringing people closer to nature and arts and culture. And Creek Show's, just a really great event that does that.
Yeah, I'm sorry it's not going to happen this year, but we could say that about a lot of things this year. So next
Definitely.
year.
Yes, we have our fingers crossed for 2021.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, thanks, Christine. It was so nice talking to you today about Floating the Waller. Such a fun installation.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to tune in to our next virtual artist talk. Today at 2:30, we'll be chatting with DWG about their installation Night Garden from Creek Show 2017. Stay tuned. Bye.